أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما ولي الله الحجة المنتظر المهدي عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف، روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الرسول بلغ ما أنزل إليك من ربك وإن لم تفعل فما بلغت رسالته والله يعصمك من الناس إن الله لا يهدي القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم وآمنا به. زينوا مجالسكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, 18th of Dhul Hijjah is a day of celebration of Haqq, a day of commemoration of Haqq, a day of expression for Haqq, and at the same time it is a day of grief for Haqq as well. 18th of Dhul Hijjah was a day that was not only revered and celebrated amongst the Muslims ever since the final Hajj, but the 18th of Dhul Hijjah was that divine day that was revered, honored and celebrated by every prophet even before Rasulullah. We have a tradition from our sixth Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh, whereby he says, ما بعث الله عز وجل نبيا قط إلا وتعيد في هذا اليوم وعرف حرمته. There is not a single prophet that was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except that he took the day of Ghadeer as a day of Eid. Yani, enter my brothers and sisters, when you stand here or when you gather here to celebrate Eid, you are celebrating a sunnah that was initiated by Adam. Adam celebrated Ghadeer, Nuh celebrated Ghadeer, Musa celebrated Ghadeer, Isa celebrated Ghadeer. A person comes and asks, then what is the relationship between the Anbiya and the Eidul Ghadeer? You find the answer in the hadith that is narrated by Rasulullah, that when he traveled or ascended the heavens during Mi'raj, in the fourth heavens, all the prophets from Adam until Nabi Isa are lined up in the heavens. Jibreel gives the adhan. Rasulullah is asked to come forward and lead the rest of the Anbiya in prayer. Upon completion, Jibreel tells Rasulullah, ask your fellow prophets, why did they become prophets? On what basis did they become prophets? Rasulullah says, I asked Nabi Ibrahim. Nabi Ibrahim replies on behalf of all the prophets, Nahnu ma'ashar al-anbiya, that we, the selected group of prophets sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we were not selected to be prophets until we said ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna muhammadan rasulullah wa ashhadu anna aliyan waliyullah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Adam became Safwat Allah because he said Aliyun Waliyullah. Musa became Kalimullah because he said Aliyun Waliyullah. Isa became Ruhullah because he said Aliyun Waliyullah. Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. A day of ishq, love, a day of wilayah, a day of pledging your allegiance to Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Prince of Believers, the distinction between haqq and batil. The narrations mention that on the 18th of Dhul Hijjah, the verse that was revealed from the Quran that prompted this declaration was that Jibreel descends down towards Rasulullah and he says to him, Ya ayyuha al-Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. If you want to understand the importance of the advent of Ghadeer and the importance of the position of Imamah, then perhaps one outlet is from this verse. Jibreel comes to the Holy Prophet and he says, Ya ayyuha al-Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. O Prophet, convey this message which has been delivered to you by your Lord. What message is this? And the intensity of this message, the consequences of negating this message is what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very clear through the angel Jibreel, where he says to Rasulullah, look at the tone being used. This is Khatamul Anbiya, this is Ashraful Anbiya, this is Habibullah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses a tone where he says, Ya ayyuha Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik wa illam taf'al فَمَا بَلَّغْتَ رِسَالَتَهُ. Ya Rasulullah, if you do not make this declaration, 23 years of Risala, your efforts have amounted to nothing in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ajib. What is this message? The traditions then mention that after Rasulullah gave a lengthy sermon, he asked the people, Alastu awla bikum min anfusikum? Do I not have more authority over you than you have over yourselves? All of them in their entirety respond by saying, Bala ya Rasulullah, yes ya Rasulullah. And it is over here that the Holy Prophet of Islam makes a landmark declaration when he raises the hand of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib and he says, Man kuntum mawla, fahada Aliyun mawla, Allahumma wali man wala, wa adi man ada, wansur man nasara, wakhdhul man khadala. Rasulullah lifts his arm and he says, whoever's master I am, then Ali is his master. Ya Allah, help the one who helps him. Be an enemy of the one who is an enemy towards him. And then the completion, the verse that is revealed after the declaration of this message. Jibreel comes down with the verse and he says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. The last part says that today, now, after the declaration of the Imamah and the Wilayah of Amirul Mu'mineen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy and satisfied with this religion. A person asked before the declaration of Wilayah, was Allah not happy with the religion? He was not happy because this wilayah is the final crown of this religion. It is the wilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen that will ensure that this religion remains safe from distortion until the day of judgment. For the message over here is that salat, pray as much as you want, but if your salat is without the wilayah of Amirul Mu'mineen, it does not gain the pleasure of Allah. Give zakat and khums as much as you want. If it doesn't have the wilayah and the love of Amirul Mu'mineen, then that zakat is not counted. Spend your entire life in tawaf around the Kaaba or reciting the Quran. But if you do not have the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib, you can never gain the satisfaction and the pleasure of Allah. This is the message of Ghadeer. The Holy Prophet goes on to say, فَلْيُبَلِّغَ الشَّاهِدُ مِنْكُمْ الْغَائِبِ. Those of you who are present and have heard this message, now go on and convey it to those who are not there. And this statement of Rasulullah is applicable on us today much as it was applicable on those before us. In the age of social media, you have an opportunity to be a part of a legacy that propagates the wilayah and the imamah and the superiority of Amirul Mu'mineen for generations to come. One tweet, one post on Facebook, and you never know whose life you may be able to change. In fact, it becomes our responsibility that this entire week we dedicate to Amirul Mu'mineen, and every outlet within our social media should have something about Al-Ghadeer. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and to keep us on the path of Amirul Mu'mineen, to give us the tawfiq to comply by his teachings in our lives, and to guide and to help us guide other people towards his wilayah. And I congratulate each and every one of you for making this effort in coming here and celebrating this occasion of Ghadeer, a celebration which should be marked with fervor, a celebration which must be marked with emotion. There must be noise and cannot be a quiet celebration. We end this with your loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.